You want this to be entertaining and factual at the same time. Or non-factual, depending on your persuasion.
Back from our regular scheduled advertisement. Here's this is an original I wrote in, I think it was 2010, and it's called Scarecrows. We do have a special guest here on our show.
Well, special I am, but
we do try and have artists other than myself on the show. I know it's got to get a little old hearing me all the time. So now Our guest here, his name is Tony Plecia, and he is...
Hello.
Thanks, Tony. He's a singer for a band called Defiance, and is Metrologic still in effect?
We're sort of on a hiatus, but the main focus is the Defiance project right now.
Okay. And I've heard a lot of good things about this Defiance project, and we'll have some material for you in the future that you guys will be able to hear. So tell us, first of all, how would you describe your sound with Defiance?
Well, it's kind of changed. It started off, Defiance was a 80s band that had some limited success in touring down in LA. And my brother and some of the core members, they got together about a year ago at my brother's birthday party, and they jammed for a while, and some of the stuff was pretty good. So it's got an 80s flair to it, like the old stuff the old songs that they had prior to me coming to the band was 80s sounding. So it's kind of hard rock, 2 guitars, a bass player that's he's not just a rhythm section. He's almost like a lead bass player.
Uh-huh.
And so my brother, the other guitar player, and the bass player were together in the band. The original drummer has basically drunk himself to a wet brain, so he's not available to play.
That sounds scary.
And they've had several singers. They had several singers back then, and none of them could really sing. I mean, they could screech, they could scream. So, so when we got together, the drummer that we got was a drummer that toured with Ronnie Montrose.
Okay, yeah.
For a number of years in the Sammy.
Well, you guys have heard about
the
Montrose.
Sammy years, yeah. So, so he's a major influence in the band now because his drumming is just incredible. So the rhythm section is full, the bass is incredible, and my brother and the other guitar player have this like almost sixth sense about where to be when it comes to harmony. So, and they play off of each other. So Pat, the other guitar player, is super fast and super clean, and my brother is just a standard, like can play any lead and puts his own flair to anything he plays. But the Defiance stuff itself is sort of it's a little bit more harder edged than it was now that they've got the new drummer. They've all been playing in other bands since then, so their musicianship is even better. And everybody's serious. It's about the music now. It's not about the partying and the people hanging out and all that. It's just about the music.
The brightest minds of 1,000 generations sought the answers we all need. But it's as plain as the nose on your face. Good survival if you can't read. Let's try and help each other one way or another. For I have faith in you, my idiot brother. Every time I think about it, it makes me crazy on my way to the moon all alone. Crazy to the moon all alone.
Now I've got to ask you this. Now, did they wear spandex back in the
No,
80s?
no spandex. Their attire was more Levi's, leather vest-ish.
But they had the leather vest.
Yeah, they had the leather
Okay.
vest. That was just the thing that was going on. They did play in the same circles as Van Halen when Van Halen was coming up. So,
Now, were they based? Where were they based?
well, they were up here in San Jose.
Okay.
So they had a house in San Jose, and they were writing music and practicing and playing at gigs up here. And so they decided they were going to go break into the biz. So they loaded everything up into a Langendorf, I think a Langendorf red truck, I think I remember, and an old Willys ambulance. So, and they head on down to make it in the biz. And they kind of
went down to L.A.?
They went down to L.A. They got as far as Santa Barbara and basically got stuck without any money. And you know, hilarity ensued, of course. So
I hear that's a party town.
yeah, it was. The drummer, the original drummer, was from Santa Barbara, so he had connections down there.
Okay, yeah.
And so they had a lot of gigs that they could play down there. But eventually they ran out of dough and headed back up here. And then some other influences infiltrated the band, and basically it blew up, and they all went their separate ways. But since then they've played. Now back when they were trying to make it into business, I was singing in punk bands in high school.
Okay.
So, and I always wanted to sing with them, but they
were too cool for you?
Well, my brother always didn't like me horning in on his...
This is your older brother,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, so he didn't want me horning in on his stuff, but, there was always little chicks running around, and so I was always hanging out with them.
Yeah.
And, while they were in there practicing, I was knocking the boots with their girlfriends.